Why, hello. Welcome back to another episode or show, whatever you want to call these things. Another video. Let's call it a video. Another video from me, Michelle Fortier. And my channel name is I'm Free Now What? And today's topic is going to be anger management. So, I have met quite a number of people that have been involved in the prison system. I have also met plenty of people who have not been involved in the prison system that have a very, very difficult time controlling their anger. So this right here is one way that I have learned through my years to be able to illustrate anger management. So what I'm going to be doing is showing you the pressure cooker of anger. So first things first, I'm sure that everybody has heard, okay, when I'm angry, before I do anything, let me stop, let me collect my thoughts, let me exercise, let me go for a walk, all that other stuff. Those things are all called coping techniques. So when we're doing those things, we are already at a place of being angry or feeling agitated, and we're trying to figure out how to cope with those feelings of anger and agitation. And so let me draw my little pressure cooker. I'm not the world's greatest artist, but I also like to draw this in front of people so that way I can explain it while I'm drawing it. So this right here, I have my blank sheet of paper. And so what I'm going to be doing is drawing my pressure cooker. And if you have never seen what a pressure cooker is, go Google it. Basically, what a pressure cooker does is it builds up pressure so that way you can cook foods a lot quicker. It's used for canning, things like that. Things where you need a high temperature, and with that you have to build up pressure. There's all this science stuff around it. You can Google it if you really want to know what a pressure cooker is. But the whole thing, the important part of why I use a pressure cooker in this example is when the pressure builds up too much, the pressure cooker will explode. So there are certain things that we do to make sure that the pressure cooker does not explode. So this right here is my great artistic rendition of a pressure cooker. You're going to be impressed once you see this thing. You're going to be like, wow, Michelle, why didn't you go to art school instead of become a therapist? I'm telling you, it's awesome. So this right here is my handy dandy little pressure cooker. I know you are impressed. So this right here, when I talked about those coping skills of running, walking, listening to music, removing yourself from the situation, well, not even removing yourself from the situation, that's more down here. This is the stuff that makes us angry. So anyway, so exercising, going for a walk, listening to music, any one of those things, that's the steam. That's how we let out our anger. So we'll have music, exercise, reading, blase squaze. So this is, but if you can see right here, there's only so much room. There's only so much that we can do to let off steam. This isn't where there's a huge amount of space that we can let out steam. It's not like that. There's only so much that we can do to let off steam. Now down here, these are the things that make us angry, the flames, the things that get us boiling. So there's certain things that we can take away. Like if we know that a particular person makes us angry, we can try to avoid that person. If we know that certain situations make us really ticked off, we avoid those situations. If we know that, certain things in this world really get under our skin and agitate us, we can choose to avoid those things. So we are able to turn down the flames. So that way we don't boil. So flames, things that make us mad. So let's say bad traffic. Right? Traffic makes me angry. I hate traffic. So anyway, so we could put traffic down here. So whatever it is that makes us angry, we can try to avoid. So if I know that traffic makes me aggravated, I can choose to make my day where I'm not stuck in traffic. I can choose to leave early before rush hour. I can choose to leave after rush hour. I can choose to take back roads so I'm not stuck in traffic. Whatever it is that I can try to do to reduce my flame. Now, we have avoid. We have coping skills. Now, this is the part that a lot of us don't pay any attention to. And this is all our negative thought patterns about our situations, about the way that the world works, the way that we feel about ourselves, all that other stuff. And so if we're filled with a whole bunch of negative thought patterns, what do you think happens? The flame gets turned up, there's all this liquid, there's not a whole lot of space for any extra steam to be, and there's all this extra water to be boiled into steam. So the whole thing is if we have this with all these negative thought patterns, all these negative beliefs that we have, we're more likely to explode because there's only so much room for the steam to come out. If we don't change this part of ourselves, then we're more likely to explode, which is never a good thing. But for some reason, a lot of people don't want to address this part of it. So what are some of the negative beliefs that we carry? One of them, and this is from CBT, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, what Beck said is the word should, or it must be like this. So if we say it should be like that, you should act like this, you should be like this, the world should work this way. Feel that anger, that irritation in our voice when we say it should be like that. We automatically get irritated because people are not living up to our expectations. This does not mean that we should not have expectations. What we should not do, or I just said should myself. That's not a good thing. I almost messed up, but I caught myself and I'm going to change that into something else. So I'm going to change what we should do into what will make us have less irritation in this life. See the difference? It is more a statement of being or a statement of how to do something as opposed to it must be or it should be. So anyway, so it is more effective if we change it to, yes, it would be nice if there was no traffic. However, I know that there's going to be traffic. It is the way that it is. And no matter how angry I am about it, no matter how irritated I am about it, it's not going to change the fact that there is no traffic. And if I find myself in traffic, I need to take some deep breaths, engage those things at the top, and then change my mindset about it. So instead of going, oh, people should learn how to drive better. Look at that idiot in front of me. Why can't he do this? Blah, 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 blah. I step back and I look at the situation objectively without all those feelings, and I change the negative thought patterns that I'm having about it. I look at my situation and I radically accept that right now I'm stuck in traffic. It is what it is. Me complaining about it, me crying about it, me fussing about it, me stamping my feet about it is not going to change the fact that I'm still going to be stuck in traffic. I can't avoid the traffic because the exit is too far away. I can't get off. So the flame cannot be reduced. I'm already listening to music in my car, trying to keep myself calm, engaging my coping skills at the top. Now, I have to change the thought patterns. And so that way the liquid, that negative thoughts can go down. So that way I'm less likely to build up with that anger, less likely to get road rage and go out of my car and start beating somebody with a lead pipe. I don't know. I really don't like traffic. So the whole thing is this applies to pretty much all of us. All of us have these beliefs about the way that the world should work, the way that people should behave. And every time that we say those words should, we start to get agitated. So that's one of the first things that we need to change when we're talking about changing our thought patterns, getting rid of that word should. The second thing that we need to do in order to be able to reduce our negative thought patterns is something called radical acceptance. And that's a term that comes from DBT. And radical acceptance, I'm going to do a whole nother video on radical acceptance because that thing applies to just about everything in life. But it is something that also applies to anger management. What we're doing when we're radically accepting our situation is we're changing our beliefs about it. But what we're not doing is we're not saying it's okay or, that there aren't things that need to be changed. What we're saying when we're radically accepting is this is the way that it is. To get angry about it, to get frustrated about it, is an exercise in futility. It's not going to change anything. So we radically accept it. And once we radically accept it, we have a sense of peace that comes behind that radical acceptance. And with that sense of peace, we're actually able to then have clarity, because our whole nervous system is then taken down a whole notch. Because when we're angry, what's happening? We're dumping that adrenaline into our system. We're getting pumped for fight or flight. But when we're able to relax ourselves, when we're able to challenge our negative thought patterns that are getting us amped up, we're able to tamp down that cascade of hormones that are going into our system. And we're able to actually think clearly. Because one of the things that adrenaline does is it doesn't allow us to think clearly. Because if we're sitting there getting ready to fight, flight, or freeze, we're preparing our body to expend a whole bunch of energy, or to shut down in the freeze part of it. But if we're fighting or flighting, our body doesn't really have time to be doing any deep problem solving. We're in survival mode. So when we can get ourselves out of survival mode, we can actually stop and come up with solutions. So radical acceptance, where we're able to lessen our angry responses and our angry emotional response, means that we can actually stop and think of different solutions, which then reduces our negative thinking patterns even more, which then allows us to actually perhaps, solve our problems. And then as I'm less angry, I can figure out different ways to approach my problem of being stuck in traffic. I can decide, oh wow, now that I'm less angry, I can think, I can listen to a podcast. I can go ahead and, listen to a YouTube. I don't know. You don't have to watch them. Some of them you can just listen to. So there's all these different things that happen when we're able to reduce some of our negative thought patterns. So once again, for a brief recap, this right here is called the pressure cooker of anger. The reason it's because it's called that is because if we don't reduce this pressure in here, we're going to explode. Exploding tends to be an aggression. I'm going to go over aggression, assertiveness, and all that other stuff in another video. This is just the pressure cooker part of it. Have you noticed everything is just so complicated? There's not just one solution to any problem. And that's the same thing with anger. But anyway, this is one intervention for anger management. We have letting out steam up here with our coping skills. We have our negative thought patterns in here. And we have reducing the flame down here. Getting rid of some of the things that make us mad. Avoiding some of the things that make us mad. But we can't avoid everything and everybody all the time. Which is why we have these coping skills. And which is why we have these changing our negative thought patterns. If you like this and you found it helpful, if you find these videos helpful, please go ahead, like, subscribe, and share. Get the word out that this resource exists. And if you have any questions or comments, once again, just go ahead and leave them in the comment section. I try as much as possible to get back to people and answer them. If you have any topics that you'd like to see, you can go ahead and leave those in the comment section as well. You can also follow me on Instagram at I'm Free Now What. Also, I do have a Facebook page, and that's at Leaving Prison Behind. And if you'd like to email me with any questions, concerns, that is Michelle F. LCSW at protonmail.com. That's all on the page too. So if I said that too fast, you can just look on the page. And if you have, one of the things that I was thinking about is posting, prison war stories. If you would like to see any of those, just let me know. I have plenty of stories from my years in the prison system. But sometimes I'm not sure if people actually want to hear them. But anyway, if you do, just leave a message. And I look forward to doing more videos, and I look forward to answering questions, and I look forward to, doing any topics that you would find interesting and helpful. Take care.